Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sustainability Explored, a podcast where every Thursday we explore what's hidden behind the scenes of the thought leaders and the most impressive disruptive minds in the field of sustainability. Today, we're touching ground with the NGO sector, solidarity, and help industry. We will be talking and interviewing Gaëlle Mogli from ConnectAID. She's the founder and the main driving force, the main motivator behind what the platform does for individuals, businesses, NGOs, and in their relationship with NGOs around the world. I'm very excited Gaelle joins us today, and I am expecting a very interesting, full of wisdom interview. Stay with us if you want to learn more. My guest today is Gaëlle Mogli, the founder and the main driver behind ConnectAID, and I'm very happy to welcome her today at Sustainability Explored. Thank you very much, Gaëlle, for joining us today. I am waiting. I'm very excited to hear the wisdom from the nonprofit side of the whole sustainability thing from you today. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me, Anna.
I'd like you to introduce yourself a little bit more for the listeners. We met with you on the Twitter grounds, discussing back then, back in the day, the LinkedIn for sustainability specialists in particular woken up. And that's when I learned about your platform. How did you get to do what you do today?
So yeah, let me introduce myself. So my name is Gaëlle Mogli. I'm the founder of ConnectAID.com, which we also call the International Solidarity Network. Before that, I was a spokesperson for the United Nations. I worked as a spokesperson in Geneva for the World Food Programme, the World Meteorological Organization, and the Organization for International Migrations. And I worked for UNICEF in about every continent. I worked in Vanuatu, in Malawi, Kazakhstan, Nepal, and so on. So I have like 18 years of experience in the humanitarian sector.
That's great. It's a supporting kind of a helping hand of the humanity. I have a lot of respect for people who do this, out of the purity of their own heart. And you have an impressive career. I know that you've been a journalist before in your career. You speak multiple languages. What drove you specifically to launch, to kickstart the platform of solidarity and help?
So yeah, I used to work as a journalist. That was the very beginning of my career. After my studies in the University of Denver in the US, I went down in South America with my backpack on, and for 2 years I covered stories on indigenous tribes. I was living with them. I was telling them, I can speak many languages. I can write. Use me as a voice. And so I did that, writing in French, English, Spanish. I was sometimes translated in Danish and Finnish. And after those 2 years, I contacted UNICEF and I said, hey, I want to work for you. And I started in 2004.
That's cool. And then the platform, how was it born? What was the main idea behind it for you?
So ConnectAID.com is a combined humanitarian and philanthropic network that allows nonprofits to concentrate on what they do best, on their mission, while allowing people to connect to international aid. The whole idea is to rebuild trust with nonprofits. If we look at nowadays with COVID-19, we are really going through a difficult time for all of us. Everyone is scared. But if we look internationally, the statistics are really disastrous in terms of poverty. There were success during the past decades, and for the first time now, there is a decrease again, and lots of people are and will continue to suffer from the crisis that we're going through, and the needs for humanitarian aid and sustainable development has never been as important as today.
Right. You mentioned poverty. I know that it's one of the main focuses, if not the main focus of the World Bank policy. And it seems like their policy is working well. So there has been some decline in poverty in the past years. But I think COVID will accelerate the reverse trend and will create a bigger gap. What was the main focus, main area of focus for you when you started the platform?
Well, throughout my career, I realized that nowadays a nonprofit that is not able to communicate and who's not able to raise enough funds dies, no matter how necessary their work on the ground is. And today, especially with the crisis that we're going through and the fact that everyone is online, people, we all work from home. Everyone has to reinvent themselves, and nonprofits need to do the same. The idea of working in silos is not working anymore. It's only if we work together that we will achieve the 17 sustainable development goals that were set by the international community. And working together with nonprofits to allow people and corporations to have a choice to follow and eventually donate to a different cause is really what's going to rebuild the trust in nonprofits and also allow more impact on the ground. So I really think that we live in those days in a world where everything is we swap, everything goes really fast, and we all have one cause that is closest to our heart, but we can also change. Like 2 years ago, it was all about climate change. This year, it's all about COVID and health. And I'm pretty sure that next year, again, there will be a switch and people will start realizing that poverty is one of the main issues. And it's, the media at the moment are really covering a lot the COVID. But I'm thinking that in the next month, there will be more of an international
sort of pressure.
No, well, I'm thinking that in the next few months, the media will start covering the international impacts of the crisis and poverty, education. That's really something that needs more attention.
Right. You mentioned trust a couple of times, and that, made me think that, well, it's true. When I'm donating to some cause that is dear to my heart in a community that I truly care about, I want to make sure that the money I'm given goes directly to that cause. How do you ensure the transparency and the trust building kind of connection between NGOs and those who donate?
Well, that's exactly part of the building trust process that we are that we focus on, because for the first time there is a platform that does not take any commission whatsoever on all the donations. So we're just here to connect you to international aid, and all the donations go directly. But really directly, we don't see the money at all. It goes directly to the nonprofit that you choose on the platform. And we have a very strict due diligence process to select the nonprofits that we work with, because they need to be nonprofits fully registered. They need to have their headquarters in certain places so that they can give. They need to be international organizations with proven track records of implementation of their projects. They need to give tax deductions for their donors in Europe and the United States. And beyond just studying those nonprofits, we work with them and we help them to communicate. So we actually even send people to the ground to see what's happening, what they do in their projects. We do lots of interviews. So what best way for people to regain trust than to actually see through communication the real impact and even testimonies from the beneficiaries. So I think so it's all about, we're not a fundraising platform because we don't have a system that takes commission and that has a whole or nothing approach, like all those Kickstarters that take 10% just for putting it on the platform. It's not at all like this. It's really a communication platform where you can really get to know a nonprofit and choose, find your cause. What's your cause? What's really touching you more right now? And maybe it will change in a few months, and you can start following on your news feed different nonprofits, and not just on the ConnectAID platform, because we're very active on all social media. So I was actually nominated not long ago, one of the top 100 SDG influencers. And we have a huge ambassador program and community advocates, which we're now recruiting at the moment. And so we're very active on social media. And since we help each other and we promote each other, so we help the nonprofits to really gain the visibility that they deserve. Because I'm telling you, the nonprofits that we work with are doing amazing work on the ground, and what they do is absolutely necessary.
That really sounds impressive and sounds to me like a titanic effort for you and your team to make together, especially if you're not making any money on it. How do you sustain yourself? How do you sustain the platform?
Well, we offer services to nonprofits. So, but we do this at the very minimum cost, because the whole idea is to help them save time and money. But by doing it together, instead of having one salary that they pay for fundraising, especially a communication officer, then they sort of share and add it together. Then we can start hiring people to work on communication, also on grant writings, on videos. We do a lot of the videos that are very impactful. To send people on the ground, we have a huge team of community advocates. We had a map the other day where we put all the dots of where our team members come from, and it's from all over the world, from Australia to Nepal to Guatemala, the United States. We have quite a few people from the Harvard University. And so we're really a network in the sense of a network. We call ourselves a community of givers. That's like one of our board member just called ourselves like this, and it kind of stick to us. Yeah, we're a community of givers.
That reminds me of, now is the time, Easter is the time of giving, so I'm giving up. Well, if you are given in terms of solidarity and health, I'm sitting here and I'm just giving up. How long did it take you? Since when is the platform on, and how long did it really take to set up?
That was a huge amount of work. We calculated that we put together 20,000 hours of work. That's the amount of work that we've put on this platform. So yeah, I've got associates who are web developers, so they help to create the platform. We started in 2018. That's for the past 3 years, I've been working 80 hours a week. I've got team members who are so committed, and so it's what we do is so meaningful and it's so interesting. It's such a passion that it's actually painful for me not to work. It's like, oh, I got to sleep again. No. And so we launched in September 2020. So we've been on for 6 months, and we've got quite a few big partners. We have the International Solidarity, the International Social Service, which is based in Geneva, and that has like a coalition of 120 nonprofits. We work with FXB International. We work with Climate and Sustainability. We work with Avocats Sans Frontières, PADEM, and we're growing because we have a lot of demand there. What we offer is, I knew it was going to work because what we offer is needed. It's really needed, and our prices are so cheap that for nonprofits they really gain a lot, and they get some donations, which we can't. Of course, we have zero control on donations, but that's like the cherry on the cake.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, today I had a talk with an old colleague of mine, and I was like, we were catching up, and I said, I noticed that more projects or more money per se doesn't really make me happier, twice as happy as before. I don't see that. What makes me happy is the feedback, in a way, is seeing that what I do is important, has impact, and maybe people don't go back to me and say, thank you for doing this and that for me, but I see how it changed their lives, how a little bit maybe it improved their lives, and that's what makes my heart sing, truly. So I totally understand your
There's a hashtag that you should start using. I've been using it quite a lot. It's hashtag life on purpose. I like using it a lot because that's what we do. I think we live in a time where people are looking for more meaning, more purpose, more solidarity, and especially with the new generations, they're more interested in impact than in becoming rich, and that's it's kind of a revolutionary movement, and we're really surfing on it because there are many among us that believe in solidarity and meaning, purpose, and working together and achieving goals together, and it's beautiful to see the me too. I'm exactly like you when working. When I receive every day lots of emails of people who are congratulating us for the work that we've done, and nonprofits are very happy of the results because we basically, they have a team of 50 people working for them we offer them, for example, to delegate their social media to us, and since we are a community, we really help promote. So every time there's a post, a video, everyone is just tweeting, retweeting, so it goes really high up. And we're very well connected with all the SDG influencers. We have our board member, Adam Rogers, who is a UN advisor, and it was in 2018 he was nominated second SDG influencer after Bill Gates. So I don't know, in Analytica or something like this. So it's really influential, and he just wrote a book. It's called Taking Action Online, which he asked me to peer review. And I really love this book because it's taking action online for the environment, for SDGs in general. And so we decided to create to organize a conference in June with it's going to be called the World Summit of social media influencers for the Sustainable Development Goals, with very high-level actors who are all working in the same direction to create a difference and using tools online to have even more impact.
Right. Will this conference take place online? And is it
online? Yes.
Open for anyone?
Yep. Exactly.
Cool.
I'll tell you, and yeah, definitely, you're invited.
Thank you. I'd like also to leave a note in the show notes because our listeners
I don't
are.
have the link yet, but on ConnectAID.com on the homepage, you'll see that as soon as we have it all set up, we'll make a big announcement because we're working really hard on this conference, and it's going to be also like a second launch of ConnectAID because we launched in September, but um, but so far it has been our contacts, our own visibility, which is quite huge. I mean, we have already 100,000 followers, but if you add up all the followers from the SDG influencers, we are up to 1 million, 1.5 million or something like this. So see, that's how we get impact. It's really by sharing. Some of us can't afford to donate at the moment, but sharing is not just donating online, it's also sharing a post, talking to people about different causes, and what we do is can be so meaningful, and that's really the message that I'd like to give, that we can all be the change and we all have a role to play.
That's true. Sharing is caring. And it's the best when you can actually see the impact of that sharing, caring, and donating as well. You can really see how it impacts people on the ground.
And at the moment, we're also looking for partners from the corporate sector. So of course, it's not my field because I've been in the humanitarian sector all my life, but we're really welcoming corporate partners to come and have impact as well, and since we're communication experts, we can help them with their visibility, and I think nowadays it's much more impactful for corporations to do something that is good, that is really making a difference, instead of spending all the money in adverts or just to show their products. We need to be working together in solidarity to make a better world. It sounds
Yeah, on top of it, it's gonna, even if they don't, I don't know, like truly believe in the cause, but they have a budget, at least it's
they're
gonna
people,
look
they're
good.
just like us. I think they do. I think everyone does. Everyone has a cause.
Yeah,
Mine is
but I mean
with
the
children.
corporate sector.
Well, yeah, but they are run, in the end, they're run by people. So
Sure. Well, at least it's gonna, what I was gonna say, at least it's gonna look good on the sustainability report, SASB
yeah,
or GRI. So you
exactly.
might as well do something
We
impactful.
can take their staff, their investors to the ground, because we're organizing solidarity trips. I really think that because I spent all my life seeing what's happening on the ground and meeting people, and so many I've heard so many times, oh my God, you're so lucky. I wish I had a life like you. Well, you can go to the ground, and I think that someone who sees what's happening, someone who goes even for a few days to follow a project, whether it's I don't know, a place where they like a daycare center for children that live in the streets around the Jaipur train station. That's one of the projects that we have, or social work in orphanages for children with special needs, or if I truly believe that when you see what's happening, then you become an ambassador for life for this project, because and that's I think by seeing with your, so for those who can't go to the field, then they can see our communication about it, our videos, our posts, or tweets, or because we really want people to feel, to gain ownership of the project, to say, oh, that's my project, that's my orphanage, that's and by so that's the whole idea of building trust and changing the way nonprofits have worked for such a long time, which is, they've been communicating way too much about themselves. Oh, and the representative is going to this meeting and there will be this huge conference, and enough of that. We want to hear about what's happening on the ground, about the people, how they have got a way out of poverty, if it's a program to get them out of poverty, or so with real impact, and not just conferences and other talks and talking about partnership, but in the end there's just very little that is done. So we're all about concrete actions.
Right. The question I have right now, if you were to walk me through the platform in, 5 steps, what do I have to know if I'm an individual? What will I find on the platform and how do I operate it? And what do I do if I'm a business?
Yeah, and a nonprofit, because those are really 3 audiences. Let's start by the nonprofits. If you're a nonprofit, you can go on the platform, look at all the different services that we offer. So like creating videos, delegating their social media, writing their content, having an NGO page, a project page that has more visibility. And so you look at all the different services, and then you fill out the application online, or you contact me. You can actually contact me through LinkedIn, or through contact@connectaid.com. And then we study you. We study the nonprofits, and we get to know them. We invite them to meetings, and we have trainings. Lots of people want to help, and instead of helping just one NGO, why not helping 50? So we find people who just want to do a training for free, and then we get them all together and they learn something, and it's really, really impactful. So that's for nonprofits who want to partner with us. And then for individuals, so you go on the homepage, ConnectAID.com, you click on join the platforms, or you can go through your LinkedIn, so it automatically puts your picture and so on, and it's just a few clicks. And so you have your profile, and you can invite your friends, who in turn can invite their friends. So it's a viral network. It's this idea of a snowball effect, and you can go to the page, find your cause, and you can choose your goal. So one of the SDGs, so let's say you're more into climate action or more into poverty, you choose the country. And it automatically selects the different projects that we have in those places, and you can see photos, and if you want to make a donation, then you just click on donate, and it will go directly to the organization, because as I said, 100% is going through to the international organizations that are then implementing their actions on the ground.
Right.
And the third is the enterprises, the corporations. So as I said, we're now looking for partners. We're looking for sponsors for this huge major conference that we're organizing. We offer membership to corporations. So if you're a member of the platform, there's a small cost behind, because in the end, that's probably the only source of income that because the nonprofits pay really, very little. And so as a member, you can then promote your corporation on the platform, have your page, and when you donate to a nonprofit, then you have your photo or your logo that is linked to that project. So it really becomes your own. We're really trying to create this ownership, and so it's very impactful. As I said, I knew it was going to work because the needs were there. You mentioned Woken Up before. I think Woken Up really tried to recreate a Facebook whenever we don't have this intention. We did manage to create a platform that is technically very, there was a lot of work done behind. But we are using all the other social media as well. So, and we have this huge community of people who are so convinced that we can be the change, and actually we have the one of the co-founders of Woken Up that is part of the board now. So yeah, we have amazing people on we call ourselves the community of givers.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Giovanna Jagger, one of your board members, she also did a podcast with us on Sustainability Explored. She was one of the earliest guests. It was March 2020, if I'm not mistaken, when the podcast just started to get rolling regularly.
Well, that's a small world at the end.
Yeah.
See, like when you're in this field, it's all you get, so many people in common, and I think when you start this kind of career, you do it for a reason. You do it because you care, because you want to add your drop in the ocean, because you want to make a difference, and that's only together that we it's very important to come back to why we started working on that, working in this field, and because some people tend to forget after long careers, and sometimes like those working with the UN, it's difficult. Career in the UN are very, it's not easy. Yeah, I think there's a pretty high rates of divorce with the UN. Because people are sent like here and there and places that are non-family duty stations.
That's a good question. Who helps the helpers?
Exactly. Well, we do.
Yeah. Well, finally, my final question, as always, I want to thank you for your time. We've been here for quite a while, and I know I have to let you go soon. One last question I always ask my guests, and usually they tend to provide a wealth of wisdom in that 1 or 2 sentences. And the question is, one piece of advice for the listeners of Sustainability Explored.
I really think that we live in this revolutionary movement that things need to change, that we are all in this planet together, and that we need to be the change that we want to see in the world. And if we look at the UN goals, they're not just UN goals, they're everyone's goals. And what we're going through at the moment, the COVID-19 pandemic, is like a wake-up call with the possibility to not go back to normal, because this normal was not sustainable. And we can all become change makers, and I really hope that ConnectAID will help facilitate this evolution towards more solidarity.
Right. Thank you so much, Gaelle. It was a treat. It was a blessing talking to you today. I learned a lot, and I really do hope the listeners will also take what they want and they can from this conversation. I encourage each and every one of you who is listening to this podcast recording to check out the platform and see what you can do for the planet, solidarity, for the community around you or further away in the world, to start planting those seeds of good for everybody's betterment. Thank you very much, Gaelle.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao. Wow, that was Gaëlle Mogli from ConnectAID, and I hope you enjoyed our interview, learned a ton of new information, and maybe even got motivated to participate in donating, in checking the nonprofits out, or helping in any way to the community around you or beyond. This was episode 85 on the role of nonprofits for sustainability. We mentioned Joanna Jagger, who is one of the board members of ConnectAID, and I want to remind you that we recorded an interview with her in March 2020 on CSR, the purpose of CSR, driving sustainability with Giovanna Jagger. Check that interview out. Ask your questions, connect with my guests, don't be shy. The reason this podcast is there out loud and for so long is for you to own it, for you to take charge of the information you get, of connecting with people, with me, with the guests, with anyone you hear about on the podcast. And yeah, this is why we're here with you every week. Thank you so much for being with us during this episode, for listening. Take care, stay sustainable, and we will see you, hear you technically, next Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.